Hello, everybody. I know we were on a long hiatus, but welcome back to Book and Sip. We're at the end of this book.
Finally, I know you guys have been finished it and was ready to talk about it. And I'm just gonna admit I was the problem.
It was Drea's fault. It's always
I
Drea's
was in
fault.
the street. I was in the streets and then I'm old and I needed a rest.
Best way to put it. All the needs to rest. But we're back and we're here and we're gonna talk about this somewhat disappointing end.
Yes. Yes.
Somewhat. Okay, so
So what are
41
you
to the
sipping?
end.
What are you sipping?
Okay, so I'm actually sipping and in it this is what all the cool kids this is what all the cool kids drink at the middle school. It's called Alani, and it's an energy drink. I don't know why middle schoolers need this, but apparently they do because every single middle schooler in that classroom, sorry, only the girls, is drinking this. Look at this 200 milligrams of caffeine. Girls in my classroom, why are we drinking this? Why are we drinking this? Sixth grade, by the way.
I, in the middle of the day, have my wine glass.
Is there wine in this wine glass?
Absolutely not. This is representative of this book. This is cherry and lemonade Kool-Aid. That's what this is in my wine. So it has the appearance of something a little uppity, but on the inside is ghetto.
Yeah, yeah. It's this. You know what? Let's just get into it. Let's get into it, and we'll talk about it. Okay, so we end with Deidre finding out that, he's a PI. So she confronts him. Deidre confronts Caesar. He admits to everything. Deidre tells him to leave quickly so he doesn't get himself killed. And then she admits that she was falling for him. Deidre and Regina go for a drive. This was actually my one of my favorite parts of the end. This drive. This drive
Yes.
was very nice. They have a heart to heart about everything, about what happened to her previous boyfriend, because like she said, Regina offed her last boyfriend. She did not apologize for it. She didn't even console her about it. Um, they also talk about what to do with Dax. Regina says, "Hey, if it's money you need, I'll invest it on the property with you. So, you don't have to take someone out. But if you want to, I will." Caesar messages Deidre, but she, of course, does not respond.
Okay. Okay. So this part right here. Um, I will say, as you know, I don't want to like Caesar. I'm
No,
determined,
no.
not gonna be my guy.
Yes.
So, however, I do think she was wrong for not really hearing him out. Really hearing him out. Is it
I,
hard to believe that three things can be true at the same time? I could be hired to do a job. I have no loyalty to you. I'm a business person.
right.
I'm hired to do a job. I go investigate people. Two, I could have fallen for you. I got I'm doing this job and then in the mean of it, I see you and then bam, you light up my life. Like you're my person. I want you. So that too could be true. And then it could also be true that because I fell for you, I did not take or use any information that could have been harmful to you to my employer.
Yes. Yes.
I think she should have at least heard the poor man out.
I agree. But on kind of going on her side, she is quite traumatized. She is quite traumatized. Her last boyfriend betrayed her, and
But
it's
she
it's
seems
almost
to be
essentially the
more
same thing.
upset that her family killed the boyfriend, not that he betrayed
Yes.
her.
Yes. And I feel like she was more worried about that because she was like, "You need to leave now before you get axed, like my last one did." Okay. Caesar gets to have one more conversation. I'm not gonna lie, I don't cry on books. I'm gonna preface by saying that I don't cry on books. I never have. This scene with his abuela had me teary eyed just a bit.
I'm a
Okay,
snot-nosed crier on books all the time.
I am not a book crier. I'm barely a movie crier. I've cried on very few movies, but this one I was like,
Snot-nosed crier.
gosh, our
I can
last
think about
conversation.
5 books off the top of my head where I was like,
No, no. But his last little moments with his grandma was just, oh, it was so touching. It was so touching. And they're bawling like a baby, and his abuela's just gonna be okay. It's gonna be okay. This everybody, this happens to everybody, but it's like you're supposed to live forever.
That's it. That's it. Yes.
And we know people are supposed to die, especially if someone at this age, but for some reason, it's still heartbreaking when it happens.
It does. It is. If that person has been a good person, you fear losing that good person
And
because
this
there's
was
no,
your gossip buddy too.
huh?
This was his gossip buddy too. She said she looks forward to just shove and watch soap operas anymore. I just want to hear about your job and all the drama going there.
Yes.
I was like, man, man. Caesar talks to his cousin about everything that's going on with Deidre. Props to his cousin. Okay.
New
Props to
favorite
his
character.
cousin. Love it. No judgment. And then the best part was that send her off one more text message, and then I'm taking your phone away because we're gonna get drunk. And when you get drunk, you do stupid stuff. And I don't need you texting her a random string of "I love yous" and "How could you do this to me?" while you're drunk.
Facts. Facts.
So I was like, yeah, that was a good call. Take the phone away. Don't hang on to the phone. Send off your last message, and then this is over.
Yeah.
So Deidre and Regina meet up to discuss how they will move forward with dealing with Dax and securing the property for Divine. Regina tells Deidre that she wants to hire Caesar to help her find her husband. She is still hopeful that this dude is still alive.
You know, I feel like these last the book was meant to be like this, right? Because we have to remember that this story is being told from Deidre's standpoint. She has been backstabbed and kind of
Yes.
mistreated. I use that word mistreated by her family in a way because she's different from them.
Yes.
But there's this big chasm between her and Regina because Regina was the one that killed her love or whatever. And we use that term loosely because she sees how a good man, and I say use again, term
Yes.
loosely, good man, um, can be in your life. So I think that seeing more of things from Regina's side, we as the reader get to kind of understand that we prejudged her and she has to
Yes.
be hard because the family requires some hardness and she's the muscle, which I like. I mean, the woman is the muscle. There's not this
Yeah.
big guy who's like, I'm gonna beat everybody. No, it's a woman. That's right. We are cutthroat. So I like that part of it. But then we get to see that she even the hard ones have a weak spot, and her husband is her person. And she, like all the rest of us in this world, need our person.
And I do like that they just show their soft. I kind of bypassed this in the last chapter, but before they went on the drive, the reason why they ended up going on the drive is because Regina came to Deidre panicked about a lost stuffed animal,
Yes,
and she's in tears over this animal because she feels like she's failing as a mom, and we forget that she's still a mom.
yes,
And she's like, my child's gonna hate me because I can't find this stuffed animal. It's his favorite stuffed animal, and I don't know what to do. And I'm like, oh my gosh, she's having a full blown panic attack for this.
yes, yes. After you just cut someone's fingers off and lock
Yes,
them up and threaten to have them clean up their own mess in your trunk.
and
People,
I don't know if it was just a buildup of everything, but I was like, man, you forget she's human.
yeah, yeah,
So that was a really good scene to me, showing that yes, she's hard because she has to be. Um, and they kind of go more into that in the last few chapters. Deidre wakes up, severe period pain, and Mrs. Caesar taking care of him. But man, who wouldn't? Who wouldn't?
indeed.
Okay. Dara, which is Dax's sister, calls Caesar to warn him Dax has lost his mind. He sent people after Deidre. He tries to text her, but she doesn't respond.
I'm trying to
Deidre,
figure out what is the deal with these people. Like, I don't think there was enough description or build up because it seemed to me like for you to go out and hire a private investigator, because we have to think about Deidre's people. They have a whole unit of folks. They've got the cousin.
yes,
She calls the cousin. She's like, this guy. I need to know information about him. Okay, cuz tell me what you know. I'm gonna look him up. He's like, I'm not a miracle worker. You gotta give me something. So they
Yes.
people that do all this. Dara and Dax seem to be this very small, clean group of people who are like, I just want my building. I don't want these racist. Nonetheless, they're
Yes,
racist,
that's what it is. They're racist.
but they don't seem to be mob or mafia or whatever this is. They just seem to be some small little conglomerate of rich people, white folk,
Yes.
who don't like minorities, uh,
Yes.
and don't want to be outbid by some black people who they think are underneath them. So,
Yes.
but this idea that they are the brother calls a hitman, this seems so far fetched from the type of people that the author wrote them to be.
And
I think
see,
that's
honestly, what I'm thinking happened, and this is just my opinion, I can't speak for the author, but what I'm thinking happened is back a few chapters, they call their uncle, and their uncle's like, no, you need to let this go. Like this whole racist thing, you need to let it go. They provide jobs for people, they're well loved people. He goes, if anything, you need to try to invest in them and start working with them. I feel like Dara was on board with that. And Dax was like, no.
yeah.
And I think that's where the disconnect came in, where Dara was like, you know what? You're right. I'll let it go. I want to invest. And Dax was like, no, I'm just going to off him.
But I'm like, how do you go from and okay, listen. As hood as I want to be, I am not. And so I'm sitting here like if I want something and Erica's like, no, I'm not gonna do it. How do I then go, let me call my goons? Where do I get goons? How do I even have a number for a goon? Say Erica's gonna give me what I want.
And honestly, it wasn't even a good goon. Like, I'm not sure if he actually wanted to kill her. It was more like he wanted to scare her. Because I was like, okay, this is a true hitman. He would have came in just shooting and would have left and been done with it. You're trying to kidnap her, it sounds like,
Yeah.
and doing a terrible job at it.
Terrible.
Like, what two bit hitman did you hire?
Exactly. It must have been too big. So he obviously is not deep in to know the good ones. Maybe he got him off of Craigslist.
I'm reading the scene. I'm like, you're a terrible hit person. You didn't come in with no chlorophyll to put over her mouth so she would pass out. You just try to pick her up and carry out the door.
And she ain't no lightweight.
What
Yo
did you
people.
hire? I was like, maybe he just wanted to scare her. I don't know, but you were clearly trying to take her. You did a terrible job at it, and this is how you ended up, full of holes, looking like Swiss cheese. So Deidre's cooking. She's in the kitchen. She's cooking her Dominican food, missing Caesar, and she hears someone enters. She thinks it's Caesar, but she realized I did not hear these three whistles, and she's attacked by this masked man horribly. By the way, like this dude is trash. Okay, Deidre manages to make it to the bathroom where she's sending off messages. I love you and this and that, and if I die, please, just know I fought my hardest. Okay, she fires off rounds from the bathroom door. She unalives this person. She goes outside. She sees him on the ground. She shoots him some more just to be sure. And even after she shoots him and she calls Regina, she's like, still check for a pulse. Just just I get it, but you still need to check and make sure there's no pulse. And this is where I was like, is this really how it ends? Caesar shows up and they confess their love for each other in the midst of all this.
That's it.
That was it. And then 2 months pass, and now Caesar is part of the family working for Regina. And I'm like, that was kind of an anticlimactic ending.
It was. It
I don't,
was.
especially when his cousin was like, you need to do some grand gesture to win her back.
Right.
So I
Right.
was waiting for the grand gesture, and I'm like, this was the grand gesture.
Yeah, I called you and you never even got the message, but I called. Okay.
So
Okay. So, listen, we in our previous book, because this made me think of Christmas tree,
yes,
or when we were talking about the grand gesture and how
yes.
okay. So now you don't even get the grand gesture. So at least on the plus side, because we look at it from a positive and a negative side. Positive, negative side is that we got bamboozled. We were looking for something that didn't occur.
Yes.
So we can't then criticize. We're like, it's always this weak grand gesture. We
This
didn't
was
get no
never.
grand
We got
gesture.
no great gesture.
But it
I
was a
I do feel I
it was
do
a
feel it was more of a realistic ending though.
yes.
I will say
Yeah,
that. I do feel it was more of a realistic ending. It was not a fairy tale ending. This is the reality of the situation, okay? It's not always some big grand gesture.
right.
So I'm not mad at it, but you tease us with a grand gesture.
And I kept trying to think like what did I want to happen in this book? So
Yes.
so
And I
as because Erica and I talk. So as was stated, our previous venture into dark romance was an epic fail. It was an epic, and so this is not, I wouldn't call it a fail. I do think, I don't know what I wanted. It had violence controlled, it had blood controlled, it had stalking. There was,
let's be clear.
and
She
there was,
labeled this as a dark comedy romance.
yes. Where's the
That
comedy?
comedy part negates all the bad stuff that could have happened.
I'm trying to, where is the comedy? What am I missing the joke? I was it the lighthearted banter?
I think that's what it was. The fact that this was not as dark as it probably could have been
Okay. Yeah.
compared to the first stalking book that we tried to read and failed at reading because it was just so off.
Yes.
Hunting Adeline, by the guys, in case you don't know. We tried to read Hunting Adeline. That was going to be our dark romance book because everybody talked about how great it was. And my gosh, I made it through 2 chapters before I was like, yeah, this isn't for me.
Yeah, and I read the I because we put down, we had an agreement, we read the first 2 chapters, and then we both came and talked about it. And so because we put that down, I went and read the prequel to Haunting Adeline. Figure out what it was called. And it took everything in me to finish that. That was horrific. Horrific. So that I just think at this point, fine, I'm not a dark
No, no,
romance person.
no.
Of course, by the way, I'm not a this just romance is not my thing to begin with. I'm a fantasy girl, so there's that.
Then
But
you'll be excited about the next book.
yes, so I this book, it is a good book. I just think one thing is I think Erica hyped this up for me because Elevator Pitch, this author also wrote the wonderful book Elevator Pitch, which
It's my
Erica
favorite book.
Erica has raved about it. And this is not a bad book. And in fact, when they come out with the next part, because I'm dying to find out what's going on with Regina's husband,
Same.
we're going to read it.
And
So
let me get that was the epilogue. The epilogue was the meeting with Regina and the case for Caesar. And they she said she's coming out with the second book in 2026 of what the
it is
deal
on the
was
list.
with I
Which
think
is
his name's
going to be
pronounced
there.
Cedro. I think
Maybe.
that's how you say his name. Her husband Cedro. It was like
Maybe.
Cirdo. Cedro. I can't remember. But we're gonna go into what happened there. And I'm curious too. I've been
Yes.
curious this whole book, honestly.
Yes, me too. So, especially because they claim this lady has killed her husband, and so now we know for a fact
Yes,
she wouldn't be. We think she wouldn't be looking for him if she knows he's dead. But criminals try to cover their back, so this is going to be very
it's
interesting.
true.
We don't know, and I will say that there were a lot of things about this book that I enjoyed. I liked I liked the banter. I really liked the banter.
Yes.
I do not want to like Caesar, but I like Caesar. Yeah. Yeah. I don't want to like Caesar. I don't really like Deidre. She all right.
She all right.
She ain't my friend. But
And, and honestly, and honestly, you take this with a grain of salt. You can take it however you want. If y'all ever have got to know Drea like I have,
oh God.
Deidre is like a downplayed version of Drea. To me, yes, she's like Drea with no sense.
Maybe that's why I like her.
She is
My
exact like
mom
every
is
time I
big
read
enough
it, I'm
for the
like,
both
this
of us.
she reminds me of Drea in a lot of ways. So but
Mm,
she's it's like Drea with less sense.
mm.
I know. But that's what I was picturing in my head. This seems like you so much. Even
I'm,
all the explicit stuff seemed like your cup of tea.
I'm gonna have to sit in that.
Yeah, simmer in that. Think about that. But
Okay,
she definitely reminded me of you.
that's interesting.
Mm-hmm. I was like, yeah, this is like Dre, just not as she ain't thinking. I was like, because Dre said from the beginning, I wouldn't have opened that airdrop,
What are
so
we
the story
doing?
would have been there in the first place.
Oh, no, some random airdrop. No, sir. Look, it takes only one time somebody tell me I was in the gym and I got an airdrop and I accepted it. It was a penis pic. No, thank you. No, thank you. Because, if I ever got one and I know that that person must be around, that's why they airdrop me. Even if it was the most beautiful thing I'd ever seen, I would laugh. I would just be like, come look at this little thing. I don't care how big it is. Like, look how tiny that thing is. Don't send me nothing like that.
Rude,
Oh,
rude.
that's what I'm scared happens in airdrop. I don't know.
See, see. So I don't know what to say about this book
I overall,
overall.
I gave it a 3.
Same.
I'm going to read the next one.
I am also.
It just didn't hit the mark, but it could, maybe it's the ramp up to the setup because what happens the next book could be this is not bad. This is not like Akatar everyone cries about. Yes, I'm talking bad about y'all people because that first book is trash and I'm not reading the second book because the first book is trash. And every time I say that, everyone says, "But the next book, then Akatar is trash." Because
That's
don't
how I
tell me
feel
about
about
the next.
Fourth Wing.
I kind of like Fourth Wing. The writing is bad, but I like the story.
And
I like
see, that's the thing I did, and I and like I said, I felt like uh the uh the adult writing in it felt forced.
in
And Fourth Wing,
hmm. I
like
think
all the cussing, all the sexual scenes, it felt forced. Like you just
I
wanted to put it in there to make it seem more adult,
I think that's exactly what it was. I think Fourth Wing should have been a
young
YA
adult. Yeah.
should have been a YA book, but they couldn't have the spicy with
Yes.
14-year-olds.
Yes. And
So
honestly, I would have liked it better if you would have just made a YA.
it totally is a YA. It is
So I was like,
totally.
this is a YA that you tried to make an adult book, and it came off sounding weird.
And but then if you put it in the context, you say, okay, it's gonna be a YA, and then you have all of this nakedness going on. Now it's
Yeah.
child porn.
Yes. So I was like, you should just took all the porn out, all the cussing out, and just made it a YA. It'd been great.
And it wouldn't have been as popular because a lot of people don't read a lot of YA.
That's true. That is true. But
But to me, it would have made more sense to make her more instead of demure and trying to be this and that. Make
yeah,
her give her some body, give her some personality, give her some maturity, give her some sauciness
something.
so that she could be like, okay, Zane, out of my face. I'm here to run this, and you go about your business.
So no, I didn't care for it. I'm not gonna say it was horrible, but I didn't care for it like everybody else did.
I liked it. I still have not read the last one because the second book got like it got the writing got worse. It was very pushed. It was frantic, and I feel like this one was going to be even worse because it was even more like let's get the last one
Yeah.
out. And so I don't want to be disappointed because I'm still on the side of like, and I know that most people that I've, particularly my sister Elizabeth, who read it, really just fell off the cliff with 3, and she wouldn't have even finished it if she didn't have to for book club. So,
Okay.
and I'm like, I
So
don't want to be disappointed.
so I can see that. I don't know. Like I said, the book we gave it a 3. It wasn't horrible. It was a little confusing. Like the
Well,
beginning part, I'm still a little confused about that beginning part.
the incidents I think were
Yeah.
But we're not trying to pick apart your writing.
Yes,
We enjoy your writing style. We
loved it.
enjoy you. I would recommend this book with a caveat, but I would recommend the book. And
And
then
guys, please don't let this turn you off the elevator pitch. Still an amazing book. You need to read it.
I need to read it. I do.
I know you don't. I know you don't get down. I'm not sure if you don't get down with the whole set different races thing or not, because
I
this
read.
one does feature a Korean and a black woman. Um, but no, the story itself still one of my favorites. Still one of my favorite book boyfriends. Okay, August read. We're diving back into fantasy. I was gonna say that this was our first fantasy book, but it was because I blocked our first fantasy book from my memory
Oh,
because it was so awful. Yes.
our
So we
fan
dabbled in
romance.
fantasy one time and we hadn't and if you don't remember, the fantasy book was
I summoned the demon boyfriend.
yes, I summoned the demon boyfriend and my gosh.
Boy, did she summon something special.
Yes she did. Yes she did.
Things
And I
moved
I
that weren't supposed to be moving.
yes. The oh gosh. So I was like, oh yeah, our first fantasy book. And I'm like, no, no, this was not our first fantasy book. We had a fantasy book, we tried it, and it was oh okay. So we're trying this again. I've been
Every
looking forward for this book.
Yeah, we have it. So every time I pick a book, and if you are book and sip connoisseurs, you know, every time I pick a book, it is quite an adventure that we go on. Not a good
Yes.
adventure, but it is an adventure nonetheless. And so I think I kind of brought this up, and we were waiting for it to drop in July. And now here we are. Although this is a mutual pick, so maybe you got a 50-50 chance that it might go good because
Yes.
Erica's actually on board with this one.
Because this was going to be our, when I saw it, I was like, ooh, we're going to read this in January. Yes, I saw this book in January. And
Yeah,
they're like,
we
it don't come out until July. I was like, fine, we're going to wait till July because this book sounds interesting.
yes.
Now, guys, if you are my smutty, smutty, dirty, dirty girls or guys, this book does say slow burn. I don't know if you're going to get any of that spice if you're that person that just loves spice. It says slow burn. I'm letting you know that now. Okay? All right. Now, I'm about to butcher these names as I read what this book is about. What is this guy's name?
Osric
Osric?
Mordaunt.
Okay. See, she's good with the fantasy names. I'm not. When Osric Mordaunt, member of the
Favorite.
Theron
Favorite.
Order of Assassins, falls ill, he realizes he needs the expertise of a very specific healer. As fate would have it, that healer belongs to an enemy faction, the Healing Order. All right, what's this chick's name?
Arian.
Arian Fairheim?
Fairheim. Yeah.
Fairheim. Arian
Maybe.
Fairheim. And her fellow Healing are inundated by sick children suffering from an outbreak of a long forgotten pox. Unable to get the funding they needed to launch an immunization program, the Healing Order is desperate for money, so desperate that when Osric breaks into their headquarters to bribe Arian to heal him, she is forced to accept. As Osric and Arian work together to solve not only his illness, but the mysterious reoccurrence of the pox, they find themselves adroitly denying their affection, which fuels the tension between them. Now, I don't know if any of you guys, and this is from a series, you've heard of it. I don't think you've watched it. I've watched it. How I Met Your Mother.
Mm.
He has a theory called the mermaid theory. And I believe this to be true, which is essentially no matter how much you dislike somebody, the longer you spend with them, you're going to become somewhat attracted to them. I feel
Attracted?
like that's what's, hmm?
Like attracted or just you like them?
I would say attracted.
Okay.
I find that to somewhat be true, and I feel like that's what's going to happen here. So we have our enemies to lovers, we have our fantasy, we have an assassin, and we have a healer. And hopefully it's not as bad as our last fantasy.
Hopefully not. The irresistible urge to fall for your enemy.
Yes. Best love story begins with hate at first sight. Is this true?
I don't know. I ain't never fell for no body I didn't like. When I don't like you, I don't talk to you. So we'll never have to run into that.
See,
That man show up and do whatever he want to do. I wouldn't piss on him.
they're forced to talk to each other. They're forced to talk to each other. And normally I would get books on my Kindle because I just don't have room for books. But if the cover is really cute, I have to go buy
Oh,
it. And
you
this
really
cover was so
want
cute.
it.
This cover was so cute, and I love the inside.
Oh yeah.
So I was like, yep, I'm gonna have to buy this one, even if it's a bad book. The cover is cute. I'm that person. I will fall for a cute cover. And I typically don't, and I don't know why. I don't like seeing people in the cover of books, but I was okay with this. I don't know why. People on the cover of books weird me out.
Really?
Yeah, same with books that have puns. Like
Okay.
not puns in them, but when their title's a pun. Like I think the last one I saw, which I refused to read the book because I like the pun, and I'm gonna have to remember it. But I was like, no, book puns, no,
But
no.
you're a person who likes a good pun. What are
I
we
do.
doing?
I love a good pun, but not as a book title. That's
What
my
are we
toxic trait.
doing?
That's my
This
toxic trait.
this seems un-Erica. I don't I'm
And I
having a
do.
hard time wrapping my
I
head.
love puns. I love puns in books. Give me a book where the guy's throwing out a bunch of puns, like the one you gave me, How to Fail at Flirting.
Yes.
Oh, so cute. But when the title is a pun, I'm just like, mm-mm. I don't know why. I don't
Okay.
know why. I just, I don't know. All right, guys. Make sure you love, follow, and subscribe. We are back. We are getting into it. So, the next video we're doing, we're going to go over how we're going to break down this book and the books that we have been reading. I don't know how many Dre got into. I got into like 5 or 6. Shockingly, I didn't think I was going to get into any, but I got into like 5 or 6 of them. So, I'm excited to share them with you.
Yes, I can't wait to hear about it.
And the books that she got into, did you get into any books? Did you read like 17 like you normally do?
Now I know I didn't read 17. I was really slow. July was not a good month, but I read some. I read some.
And see, I figured out how she reads 17 books. I happened to be in the car with her when she listened to her audio, and she listened to it at lightning speed, like
One
that
and a
10
half.
speed,
It's
where it
one and
sounds
a half.
like a mouse talking to you.
It's not a mouse. One and a half is fine. Once I get to anything past one and a half, I'm like, repeat, repeat, repeat. I couldn't get it. So one and a half is as fast as I can go.
See, I listen to my audiobooks at normal speed.
I did that. I just I reread an old book that I don't it's someone you've never heard of because you're so young. Eric Jerome Dickey. It had all of us old ladies now had us in a chokehold when we were in college. Eric Jerome Dickey, and there's a book called Sister Sister, and let's just say the beginning of the book talks about this lady who she's 5'7", and she talks about how she hasn't let herself completely go because she's only gained 20 pounds since she got out of college.
Mhm.
Um, and she's trying her best to get down to her college weight of 118.
Okay.
5'7", 118 pounds.
That's really tiny.
You are
Yeah.
beyond tiny. You're underweight,
Yeah.
unrealistic, and you are underweight. And so that means she's 138 pounds and she doesn't consider herself as letting herself go. So this is the things that we would like read and accept in the 90s based on where I am now in the, 2025. I'm like, this trash, I used to like this. How he go? So, but that is funny because it's been really, it feels like 30 years since I read that book. And I ended up in tears. I was like, I am
See,
a huge book crier. Let's not talk about Snape or Dumbledore because I'm still crying.
I'm not a book crier. I'm barely a movie crier. I think I've cried on maybe 2 movies that I can think of in my head. And yes, one of them was Toy Story. Okay, I don't care what you think. Toy Story 3. Here's what you think. When they're about to fall into the fire, yes, I thought
I
that was
guess
it.
I don't know that I've even seen Toy Story 3, so I don't know. I don't know.
And then the other one was Best Man's Holiday.
I didn't see that either.
Yeah, me and Lamar saw it in theaters, and yes, movie had me in the theater crying. Everybody in that theater was crying. Everybody in the theater was crying.
Mm.
Yes, everyone.
Yeah,
It
well,
was,
that was me reading Harry Potter and whatever one Dumbledore died in. I when I went to the movies, and then when Snape died. So sorry if I killed your vibe. You didn't know Snape died. Snape died.
and that was a very violent death, by the way. Okay, my gosh, that was intense. Like even me seeing that, I'm like, oh gosh, it it was y'all had to do Snape like that. Okay, y'all had to do Snape like that.
That was Voldemort that did that. We didn't have
Because
anything to do with that.
just whew. Anyways, guys, love, follow, subscribe. We will see you next time. We're gonna go over the irresistible urge to fall for your enemy and some of our book faves that we read. So we will see you guys next time.
Bye.
Bye.